Willie D Live.
What's up, family? I'm not a Democrat or Republican, just an American. And I am not with illegal immigration. Immigration? Yeah. Illegal immigration? Nope. Having said that, I want y'all to check out Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett's dismantling of GOP fear-mongering on immigration. She calls out the lies that they tell about crime being up when it's actually down, and this administration's hypocrisy and failed policies. Check out the video, leave your comments, and I'll come back with mine.
And I'm going to go straight to Sheriff Wayburn because I don't know if you recognize it, but I actually represent a portion of Tarrant County. So I'm very familiar with some things that are going on there. So I want to talk about some of those things. Before I do that, though, I do want to address the last things that were brought up about the census, and I'm not really sure if my colleague recognizes that Texas actually got 2 new congressional seats. The state of Texas actually grew a whopping 4 million people, and because of those 4 million people that came into Texas, or from wherever they came from, we actually got 2 new congressional seats, which Texas historically has been a red state, and New York actually lost a seat, which historically has been a blue state. So I did want to make sure we put some facts on the record. But we are talking about immigrants a lot. In fact, there's a lot of anti-immigrant rhetoric and blaming of immigrants when certain things happen. And based on things coming out of this committee, we seem to believe that immigrants are the reason why crime is up and why our communities are less safe. So I did my research, and I want to go through some of it with you, specifically about Tarrant County, because I don't want you to have to know statistics about somewhere else. So with that being said, Sheriff, do you know if within the last year between 2022 and 2023, if there was an increase or decrease in murder and negligent homicide in Tarrant County?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it did not increase.
Okay. In fact, it went down by almost 17%. So great job. What about manslaughter by negligence, or we call it criminally negligent homicide?
I believe it also went down.
Yes.
In the past, it may be on ticking up at the moment on intoxicated and homicide, may be ticking up at the moment in 24.
Okay, well, we had a 56.52% decrease. How about rape?
All those categories we believe went down.
Absolutely.
And I do credit a lot of incredible law enforcement and municipal police chiefs.
Awesome. So there actually was a decrease by 3.35% in rape. Robbery went down 4.5%, and both aggravated and simple assault went collectively down by 3.18%, and theft went down by 3.89%. This is at the same time in which we're talking about the migrant community and stoking these fears that they're bringing all of this trauma and this crime and violence to our communities. But when we look at a Texas community, Tarrant County, actually everything has gone down. And I do want to thank you for your service in that way, because it takes a team. It can't just be one thing. It means we've got to have great law enforcement, but we also have to have really good policies, and we honestly need to be honest about the data that we see. So overall, it shows me that Sheriff in Tarrant County, all crime was down, is what I can tell from the numbers. And do you know if Dallas County, which is next door, if they had an increase or decrease in overall crime?
I think all of North Texas, we saw decreases.
Absolutely.
Every one. And again, Chief Garcia, Chief Neil Noakes, there's some great police work going on in both of those counties. Absolutely.
So I'm going to move on to something else really quickly. One of the things that I want to talk about is the border in general and policies. I'm not sure that you're aware, but I'm going to make sure that it's clear that the Senate worked on a bill, much like the Senate has done a lot more work than the House has done this entire session. And The only reason that that bill has not come to the floor to help those that need help as it relates to the border crisis is because Donald Trump specifically said that it should not come to the floor. In addition to that, I want to talk specifically about some concerns that I do have in Tarrant County. While I am so thankful that the numbers have gone down, there's been a concern about the fact that there has been a consultant that's had to come in, and this consultant has had to come into Tarrant County potentially to the tune of approximately $200,000 for an 18-month contract to help the elected sheriff identify solutions for an extensive list of jail deaths, an alarming shortage in detention officer staff, and the necessity for Tarrant County to address its overcrowded jail by entering into a $40 million contract with a privatized jail outfit to house Tarrant County's inmates in Garza County. That is concerning to me. It is concerning because as a former public defender, I actually had clients that died in the jail, and most people don't understand that the main job of a sheriff is usually to make sure that they're taking care of the jail population. And so, Sheriff, I want to make sure that while they've brought you to D.C., that we make sure that we're taking care of Tarrant County, where you and I both are locally elected to serve, because we cannot have a situation in which we have violations of people's civil rights potentially due to overcrowding, or we can't have a situation where we're losing lives because we are helping out our friends who are trying to stoke more fears about the migrant community. Because the one thing that we know from the data is when it comes to migrants in the state of Texas, specifically in Tarrant County, if anything, it looks like the numbers have gone down as far as crime overall instead of going up. And so we know that while it is a team effort, this idea that this president is doing something so nefarious that he is trying to bring people in so that he can get them to vote for him, or he can get them to help out a census in a particular state. That's just not what the case is. But I do thank you for your time, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Since the beginning of his campaign for president, Donald Trump in 2015 has been consistently propagating hateful, extremist rhetoric about immigrants, including falsehoods depicting all Mexican immigrants as criminals, as drug dealers, and as rapists. At campaign events just last month, Trump claimed that immigrants are poisoning the blood of this country. The Republican witnesses here today are the latest in a line of people spreading racist, far-right fiction in an attempt to dehumanize immigrants. Mr. Beer, I want to get back to some truth in this conversation. Is someone more likely to commit a crime if they are born in the United States or if they are foreign-born?
If they are born in the United States.
I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. First and foremost, let me address the Jasmine Crockett haters. Go to hell. That's right, I said it. Go straight to hell. Because I know the only reason you don't like her is because she tells it like it T.I. is. You can't say she lying. The only thing you can say is that you don't like her. Yeah. That's cold-blooded when you can't improve your argument. So you try to talk down about her looks. And I'm talking about a good-looking black woman, too. I'm going to try to talk down about her looks. Oh, man. I want to try to talk down about anything but the facts. You cannot address the facts, so you name call and things of that nature. Let me tell you how I know Jasmine Crockett is good people. Because they hate her. See, I'm hardwired to love anything they hate and everything they love. I hate. Yeah, fam. Yeah, that's right. You see, here's the deal. It's people out there, fam, they're so uncivilized that they can't even operate in a civilized society. When you start talking about being treated fairly, being righteous, they're like, what the hell is that? We do what we want to do. These laws are not for everybody. The laws are for us to do what we want to do and protect each other. Everybody else, y'all gonna have to bow down. Y'all getting cases. Y'all going to jail. These laws are for us to protect us from y'all. Yeah. Crime is going down, not just in Texas, but crime is going down in a lot of states around the country. But the goal has always been to use fear to make people do what you want them to do, to bring people to heel. You use fear. To bend them to your will, use fear. You can talk about a lot of other things and people may take their time responding, reacting. But if you use fear, fear has been known to work. I mean, immediately. Think about it, fam. When you're watching commercials on television, or even when you're on the internet and you see something, let's say it's something about health, and they tell you, oh, don't eat this, this could kill you. When you eat this will hurt you. Take this, or buy this security system if you don't want to be attacked. Get this type of gun. This will stop them. Buy this type of house, or buy this product if your house catches a fire. You want to be able to put it out. They just sell fear. They sell fear all day. Have you ever noticed that every single year, whether crime is up or down, they add more police officers to the force? The budget gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. The budget gets bigger. Yet, people still live in fear. Now, crime is down. Just because crime is down don't mean that we're all of a sudden safe. This country is still very much a very dangerous place. And the immigrants ain't the ones you got to be watching out for. It's homegrown Americans. As the report said, 47% of the crimes, 47% of the crimes that happen, let me back up. Immigrants are 47% less likely to commit crimes than Americans. Foreigners are 47% less likely to commit crimes than Americans. You know why? Because they don't want to be deported. Americans, they got people on the ground. Something happened to them, they go to jail. They can get people, their family to come visit them, whatever. Some of these immigrants, they come over here and they're the only ones here. They trying to get the rest of the family over here. They can't afford to make no mistakes. They can't afford to go to jail. If they go out there and do something, they can get deported and be separated from their entire family forever. So it's just like when Americans go to foreign countries. Have you ever noticed, if you ever been out of town, right or wrong, you're on your best behavior. When you go to these other countries, you're on your best behavior, and you better be on your best behavior. Because if you think it's sweet, they're gonna show you that it's sour real fast. Yeah, they're gonna show you. For all of y'all out there who think you can go to these foreign countries and do some of the things that you do in America that could probably just get you reprimanded or scolded or get somebody to just look at you real mean or whatever. Or sometimes certain things that you do here, people wouldn't even give it a second thought. It ain't even a crime. You go overseas and do try that, and you can find yourself locked up for life. So we're on our best behavior when we go in other countries, because we know we ain't guaranteed to be able to hop on a plane and go back home. Yeah. So this is what they do. They lie to you and make it sound fly to you. so that they can get you to bend to their will. I can't count the times I've seen people out here looking at law enforcement and believing everything that they say. Always giving them the benefit of doubt. There are some people out there who have never disagreed with law enforcement's side of the story. Never. When they have killed a black person, they got a damn excuse for every single murder. They have never saw it the way of the black victim. Never. But as soon as something happened to somebody white, they can just be detained. And they be, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that to him, But let it be somebody black. Good work, officer. Good job, officer. Well, they got an excuse for everything. Well, he shot him in the head. Well, the cop, he was, he was nervous. I mean, things like that happen. Unfortunately, the guy died, but, being a cop is a very stressful job. The cop fell down and his gun went off and he killed 2 people in the car. They got an excuse for everything but justice. No more talk.